In today's market, I think the things that many people close to Trump are saying should be at the top of your minds. That's why I'm making this for the XRP army. I have some news to share. To begin, I'd like to talk about this with all of you great people. Okay, a top advisor to President Trump has said that India is helping Russia with their ongoing war. It was only 24 hours ago. Indian officials said that their country will buy Russian oil even though President Trump has told them not to. Obviously, this is a worry because the US was planning to focus on India next when it comes to business relationships. So many important questions will be raised about what will happen in the United States if this relationship starts to get worse. Specifically, it will have to do with industry and the growth or possible shrinkage of their GDP. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the whole story yet, but I think that next week this will be the big story that everyone talks about. India, the United States, and trade disputes with Canada, the United States, and likely some other countries will also be involved. It's possible for this market to go either way next week, that's for sure. Along with that, I believe there are many more positives than negatives. I'll explain why I believe that to be true. But before we do that, I also want to bring up the current industry recession in the US. The ESM manufacturing PMI index fell to 48 in July, which was the lowest level since November 2024. It went down by 1 point. The US industrial sector has now shrunk in 31 of the last 33 months. This is the 5th month in a row that it has shrunk. The ESM report also showed that new sales and the number of businesses shrank for 6 months in a row. The employment measure also dropped 1.6 points to 43.4, which is the lowest level since 2020. This comes after 25% of US makers cut jobs last month, which is the most since June 2020. The US needs help. We can all look at this news in two different ways. On the one hand, we can see that there is a contraction that is bad. We can't make things because of this. It is likely to keep getting smaller because of taxes. That is one way to look at it. But there is another way to look at it. If we look at this chart, we can see what happened right after the quarter when makers said they had fewer jobs open. It actually tells a much more interesting story, which I believe could be a sign of good things to come. You need to listen, even if it sounds crazy. Going back to June 2020, it's easy to see that there was a big difference in the number of US makers who said they were making less money in the months before that. This middle line was a long way below it. Of course, this was true around the time of the plague. And what we saw right after that was this fall astronomically. Now, what was that? Well, if you remember, stimulus began during this time, right after there was a huge imbalance with US producers. To put it another way, a lot of money creating. This in turn increased demand for US industry and gave more people access to capital, allowing them to buy things. Eventually, the unemployment rate started to drop or rise, which made this chart go down. This is actually something that might cause rates to go down. If the economy is under a lot of stress, inflation and other issues are under control, but there isn't enough business in the US, rate cuts are the best way to make things better. Things are actually moving in the right direction for this to happen, which could lead to an extended bull market. We'll see how this goes, and I'm really looking forward to it because if it goes the same way as it did in 2020, rate cuts are much closer than many people originally thought. Not only is that good news, but there are other things that are also good news right now. For example, if we look at the crypto charts, we can see that most cryptocurrencies are currently totally oversold. In the case of the stochastic RSI, we've been depressed since the end of July. It's not just XRP. Today, all the numbers are green. Many cryptocurrencies are getting a lot of new buyers today, which is great. As you can see, Ethereum has also been sold too low. Bitcoin, what a surprise. Also, it's been sold too low, and there are signs of a small upward trend. And it's going to be very powerful if we see a movement like the one we saw recently for XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. I want to tell you that we were oversold on June 22 and then started to move toward being overbought. We stayed there for about a month before we finally got our fix, which is where we are now. However, today is the first green day, or substantial green day, since the decline. This is a very strong sign that there will be a lot of upside in the very near future. Now let's look at some other charts, like this one of Fibonacci-Bollinger Bands. You can see that the bands are beginning to get tighter, which again means that a nice big move is coming. As you can see, the bands did tighten up here not long ago, and then we moved to the downside. We're seeing that start to happen again right now, but we're trading at the median purple line, which gives us a great chance to test the top resistance lines again over the next few days. I think that next week will be very, very, very volatile, and it could be volatile to the upside as well. There is a chance it will go down. We might be able to make trade deals, which will give us a lot of good energy. We could see more disagreements and confusion, which could lead to more losses like we saw a few days ago with everything we talked about on this channel. That's why we're here, to get ready for whatever direction the markets take. I won't be upset if I can lower my average starting price for XRP after a big drop. Again, I won't complain if the markets go crazy and my XRP stocks go up with them. That is really amazing for me. Having said that, I just want to let you know that you can get access to all of my trades right now for free. That includes all of my entries and exits. I've had months where I regularly close between 100 and 400% up, and you guys can see every trade we make, including every entry and exit. It's my whole history. You can see that I do what I say. Okay, I walk it every day, so I'd like to invite you to sign up for one of my 2 partnered platforms, BTCC or bit.nix, if you use my links. You'll also get huge bonuses, and right now there is a huge trading battle on being X with crazy prizes for all of you great people. So yes, you can sign up there if you still want to be in that trading battle. To get in, you have to use my links. After that, all you have to do is put $500 worth of any cryptocurrency on the market. Then you fill out this form with your email address and exchange user ID. That's it, guys. I really hope a lot of you will join the debate in the Telegram. To do that, click on the pages below. Additionally, please read the warning while you're down there to make sure you're in the right place and all that. And of course, you're following all the rules in your area and everything. There is no financial advice in what I say. Remember that, please. Much love to everyone who watched today's movie. Goodbye.